In the year 1650, in the New England colony in Massachusetts, there was a law concerning education that was passed. And this is the opening portion, then a quote from that opening portion of the law that I'll read for you here. And this is what it says. It being one chief project of that old deluder Satan, to keep men from the knowledge of the Scriptures, as in former times by keeping them in an unknown tongue, so in these latter times by persuading from the use of tongues, that so that at least the true sense and meaning of the original might be clouded and corrupted with false glosses of saint-seeming deceivers, and to the end that learning may not be buried in the grave of our forefathers, in church and commonwealth, the Lord assisting our endeavors. Now, there are a couple of fascinating things then about this to point out. The first one is that this law mentions Satan. And given where we are today in America, I don't think you're going to find many laws in America that mention Satan. And maybe that's a reflection of our own time then, right? And maybe we need more of them mentioning Satan. And because of that mention, actually, in this law, the one name for it that's sometimes used is that old Deluder law. Second point here, and more serious then to the point, is that the reason for this law, as you look at it here, as it says here, that it is there specifically to fight ignorance, which is one of Satan's key tools against man. And notice the kind of ignorance that they mention in this law. It's ignorance about Scripture, and it also includes references to language around Scripture, scriptural language, and also then good and true learning. And so I think in many ways this law, if you're wondering what does Protestant classical education look like, this law I think gives you a quick snapshot, right? That it's fighting against ignorance, particularly ignorance about languages, that Protestant classical education is interested in language learning, classical languages of the Bible, so that Scripture can be opened and clearly understood. And then from that, incorporating then these elements of classical education, this then prepares a student to be able to understand the Scripture and be able to explain it in a winsome way to those around him, and then be able to apply it to his own life in how he lives.